Hi everyone, welcome to the day 2 of Getting Started with R. In this video, we'll learn about how to generate randomly distributed data in R, how to make a scatter plot, a histogram plot, and how to create subplot or multiple plot in R. So first, let's start by learning how to generate randomly distributed data in R, which is our first agenda, randomly distributed data in R. So there are two common ways to generate random data in R. One generates randomly distributed normal data and the other generates randomly distributed, uniformly distributed random data. For randomly distributed normal data, we use a function called rnorm in R. And if you want to know the details of this function, you can just type the question mark in front and just run it. Here you can see all the details, descriptions, and examples on how to use the rnorm, right? So let's try. Let's call x your variable and you want randomly distributed data. So you type rnorm and inside that the first input is going to be the numbers. How many number of randomly distributed data do you want? If I want 10, I have to type 10 and then I need to keep the mean of my data. Let's say the mean of data is going to be 0 and the standard deviation of the data is going to be 1. So if I run this line of code, in the environment section you can see the x, and if I just type x and then press run, here are the 10 randomly distributed data and you can see the data has the mean 0 and the standard deviation is 1, right? There is another way to write the same normal distribution, which is rnorm and just type 10. You don't need to type the mean, you can just say 0, which will be understood by the r is the mean, and you can just type 1 and you have the randomly distributed data between 0 to 1 and x. See, this is your new set of randomly distributed data, and here you can see the randomly distributed data from this one is not same as the randomly distributed data which we generated earlier, even though all the things look exactly same. This is because these data are randomly sampled and they are going to be different every time you run the code. So that's one way of generating randomly distributed data, which is normally distributed, and the other one is the uniformly distributed randomly distributed data. Uniformly distributed data in R. For that, there is a function called runif. If you want to know more about the function, you can just press the question mark sign in front and press run. So it has got all the details on how you can generate uniformly distributed data. So let's call a variable y and the function runif. The first entry of the function is going to be the number of variables that you want. Let's say I want 10 variables, and then the second entry is going to be the minimum value, which is, let's say, 0, and the next is going to the maximum value, which, let's say, 10. This means I want 10 randomly distributed, uniform randomly distributed data, and the range of the data is going to be from 0 to 10. So let's just press run, and now I have 10 randomly distributed uniform data. If I press Y and enter, it will give me 10 data, and you can see the data have the range from 0 to 10 and they are randomly distributed. I can just write runif give 10 is the number of data that sorry about that. Yeah, train data starting from, what is wrong here? Okay, I want 10 data starting from 0 and then 10. Yeah, same thing. So now we learned how to generate randomly distributed data in R. We generated both the uniformly distributed data and the normally distributed data. Now let's try to make plots. So if I want to plot the x against the y, I just simply need to type plot and then give the first variable, which is going to be x, and the next variable, which is going to be y. And if I press run, in the plot section you can see my x data is plotted with my y data. And likewise, if you want to know more about the plot, you can just go here, the simple xy plotting, and you can see all the details about plotting over here. There is one more important variable in the plot, which is the type of the plot. Here you can see in this plot all we have is the dot, right? What if you want to make a line and dot both? If you want both of them, you can just give the type, which is going to be O for the both. See, now you have both the lines and the dot. What if you want just the point? If you want just the point, give P. If you want just the line, give L. And here you have all the details about what to use. If you want both B, lines, L, points P, and you can find all the details about using the plot in here. And the next thing we're going to learn is making a histogram. Let's say I want to see the histogram of my data x. Earlier I said the x is randomly distributed normal data, right? So let's see if the x is normal or not. For that we can make a histogram plot. The code to make a histogram plot is just type hist and then give your variable. In this case the variable is x, so histogram. You can see the histogram. Since I only have 10 data, the histogram doesn't look that normal. But what if I change the data from 10 to, let's say, 1000? So with the 1000 data, seeing the histogram, now the data looks normally suited, right? The bell-shaped curve. And if I want to see the same thing for my y data, let's increase the number of variable to 1000. And the histogram, for histogram I just type hist and then give the variable, which is y. And here is my histogram for y. In this one you can see my data now is almost uniformly distributed. And in this video we are going to learn one more thing, which is to make multiple plots or subplots in R. So you can press here to go back to your previous plot and press here to go to your next plot. Suppose you want the histogram of y and histogram of x in the same plot. For that, we need to use a function called par, and inside the function we need to give the number of rows and number of elements that we want, right? So mf row, which specifies how many rows and columns. We give 1 row and 2 columns. And after that, if I just copy this over here, x and y, see, it has 1 row and 2 columns, and in the first column I have the histogram of x, and in the second column I have the histogram of y. If you have a 4 subplots or 4 plots you want to show in a single picture, you can just change it to 1 4, or you can have different arrangement like 2 2, and then make 4 plots just like this. So that's basically what I wanted to cover in this video, and in the end of video I wanted to give you one more. tip, you might already know this, but if you want to change the theme of your art studio, you can just go to tools and go to global options. Then you can look for the appearance. Right now I have the cobalt, which is this theme. If you want to change it to, I know, maybe chrome, clouds, anything, it's poly requirement. I'm just gonna stick with the cobalt one. Apply. Okay, yeah. So that's all for this video. On the next video, I'll try to bring a practice exercise. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.